Hello? Okay. So, okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. As I've said, no, doon sa mga kwento na napanood natin, sa statement ni BP Sara, at saka sa statement ng COS, ng OVP, so na-realize natin dito, taliwas doon sa kwento nila, yung tunay na pangyayari. Of course, pinatunayan niya na no, nung interpellation ni Representative Swansing at saka ni Congressman Kohun. So, Mr. Chair, in our last session, so just to review, the committee passed my motion to hold Attorney Lopez in contempt under Section 11F of the Rules of Inquiries in Aid of Legislation for undue interference in our proceedings, and resolved to detain her for a period of 5 days instead of 10 days, or maximum of 10 days, as provided for in our Section 12 of the same rule. I must stress also, Mr. Chair, that the totality, just you have said a while ago, the totality of Attorney Lopez's acts and conduct warranted a detention of more than 5 days. Considering the totality of her acts of undue interference to the proceedings of this committee and the Congress as a whole, she not only admitted writing to the COA in order to suppress or prevent the release of documents, but worse, Mr. Chair, she continued to assert her position during our hearing, as well as in prior correspondences that she sent to his committee in refusing to attend our prior hearings. But by virtue of her conduct, the committee was deprived of invaluable information necessary to allow it to perform its role of crafting legislation for the improvement of the country's system of governance and transparency, Mr. Chair. In fact, she only attended when a threat of contempt citation loomed large should she fail to comply again with the subpoena duces tecum, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, in view of the what happened during the last 2 days or so, I would like to consider to move for a reconsideration of our resolution, insofar as it's limited the period of detention for only 5 days. I move, Mr. Chair, that the period of detention of Attorney Lopez be 10 days instead of 5 days. So move, Mr. Chair.
10 days, so additional 5 days, tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, kasi hindi na siya makaka-attend ngayon, ano. Talagang ano, no, so nakita naman natin sa history nung kanyang evasive attitude, behavior, at itong kinreate niya na sinasabi niya na nagpagsisinungaling niya na hindi naman siya hinaras or hindi naman siya na-barge yung kanyang, yung room ay kasama na po yan. So yung lahat ng mga pangyayari, Mr. Chair. So I repeat, I move to extend the period of contempt of Attorney Zulaika Lopez, Mr. Chair.
Is there second to the motion?
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Marcoleta.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Before an action may be taken by the committee, may I know how the totality of evidence was evaluated that merited the contempt order by the chair?
Congresswoman Castro.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to
Mr. Chair, may I
I'd like to
answer?
apprise the
Yes,
court,
Congresswoman
Mr. Chair,
Castro.
So,
That in the
The-
case of
so sino
Ong,
po ang in-acknowledge niyo, recognize,
This is-
Mr. Chair?
Congressman
this is a point of
Marcoleta.
information, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. This is
Yes.
something that has to do with the rights
Congressman
and the liberty
Marcoleta.
people. In the court,
Congressman Marcoleta, let us, the chair recognizes Congresswoman
may I
Castro.
ask, Mr.
Please
Chair,
proceed, Congresswoman Castro.
Mr. Chair, may I ask the action of the committee first on my motion, Mr. Chair, before we entertain?
We will rule on the
Okay,
motion first.
okay.
Is there any second to the motion?
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized, please?
Duly seconded. Is there any objection?
Mr. Chair,
Hearing none, the motion is
I was
carried.
recognized
Chair.
earlier before any action may be taken by the court, by the chair. Why is it that I am not allowed to speak?
Congressman Marcoleta, there is a pending motion. We just acted
Yes,
on the
but
pending
before
motion
that
first.
motion can be taken up, because this is about the liberty of an individual. May I be heard?
Yes, you will be heard, Congressman Marcoleta, but we just acted on the motion. Now, Congresswoman Castro, please, could you please answer the query of Congressman Marcoleta?
I have not yet asked the question, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
I
please
am trying to
continue.
explain my point.
Please continue, Congressman Marcoleta.
Because in the totality of evidence, as stated by Honorable Castro, there is an existing case, Mr. Chair. Ong versus Senate, GR number 257401, which says that the court ruled that the determination of whether a testimony was false or evasive requires an assessment of the totality of evidence presented to determine whether a witness speaks truthfully or merely trying to evade answering the question directly. So I am asking, Mr. Chair, how was the totality of evidence assessed, if ever it was assessed? Ano po yung pinagbatayan? I think we deserve to know how the assessment was made. This concerns the liberty of an individual. Under the Constitution, no one should be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. I think Attorney Lopez deserves to be heard. Ano po yung assessment na ginawa ng chair o ng committee? Kasi po, ang nabasa ko lang o nakita ko, Mr. Chair, Attorney Lopez wrote the COA explaining the position of the OBP that the audit observation memo is not conclusive, which means, Mr. Chair, Attorney Lopez is merely explaining the nature of an audit observation memo. If I were the lawyer of the OBP, I would have done the same. Because I think the very nature of the AOM, it is not final and executory. Why would the COA abdicate its mandate of auditing the transaction or the funds utilization of the OBP? Why would the committee, Mr. Chair, arrogate upon itself the very mandate and responsibility of the Commission on Audit? Article 9D, Section 2, Paragraph 1 of the 1987 Constitution, Mr. Chair, I will read. The Commission on Audit shall have the power, authority, and the duty